Hello everyone, and welcome to the Season 2 premiere of Star Trek Drake, a Star Trek Adventures actual play using the rules by Modifius Entertainment. My name is ELH, the Game Master, and joining me are lovely individuals we'll get to meet in a moment. The few announcements I have at the top of the stream are that if this is your first time checking out Star Trek Drake, the good news is that since it is the Season 2 premiere, I'm going to do my best to make it, again, accessible to people, because I know there's kind of that stigma of, oh, do I need to go back and watch everything to understand what's happening? Kind of yes, but I also want it to be a way for people to get into the series and catch up much more quickly, if that makes any sense. The other announcement I have is that, hopefully, knock on wood, the series premiere of Star Trek Ager is going to happen this Friday at 9 p.m. So hopefully that will go down well. And yeah, quick shout out to a few people in chat that I owe hellos to, and then we'll do introductions. So Lord Exile, hello. Evil Steve, hello. Sunbay, you're in the game. Why are you in chat? Cybernation Uncensored, hello. GM, hello. And then Revan's friend, hello. And I see Ars as well, already contributing. I see both a momentum and a complication on the board. Very nice. But yeah, with that said, let's get everybody to introduce themselves, and we'll get started with play. So, Peter, what you got?
Hey, everybody. I'm Peter, or Petrus Aquinas on the interwebs. And for Reverend's friend, yes, I also am on the Roll and Review podcast. There you go. But I play the culinarily challenged Xindi Captain Thalen.
Culinarily challenged. I'm going to have to use that one.
There's a new type of Xindi every episode.
I know.
I haven't heard of these culinary
There's
ones.
now like 10.
Oh, I love it. You're a spy. You're up next. What you got?
I'm Jeremy, or you're a spy, and I play our ship's intrepid chief engineer, Adrian A.C. Chaffin.
Sunbay.
I'm Sunbay, also known as Jeff from the real world. I play the no longer headset-prone human exo Commander Tucker Cole.
All right, so everybody, when his headset dies in the next 5 minutes, I just wanted there to be a visual and audio record that everything was. Oh, we have fun here. Nem, you're
It's good.
Yay for new audio, yeah. My name's Randy. I'm online as Dr. Nemesis, and in this game I play Earl Ezekiel Langerhausen, who is the ship's chief medical officer, better known as Dr. Early.
Very nice. And of course, wouldn't be a Star Trek Drake game without the intro, so Techno Nerd, take it away, buddy. All right, and welcome back. So, as is tradition on the channel whenever we're playing Star Trek Adventures, is I have the players do a opening log, and tonight that falls to Commander Cole. So, Sunbay, take it away, buddy.
Exo's log, stardate 0715.8. The Drake is following in the wake of one of the largest comets ever recorded, roughly 300 kilometers in diameter. Scans have been inconclusive so far due to strange properties of the comet's tail that are hindering sensors. It appears that it's mirroring our scans when we're on the outside. Tanazaijin believes that if we were to enter the tail, we might be better able to compensate for the interference. Something like how light bounces off of a one-way mirror. Currently, we're on the wrong side and our scans are reflected, but inside the tail, the scans would pass through the tail and be beneficial. I can't help but think what could be inside that tail as well that we just can't see now. Similar to those space fish in the neutronic storm. Start Guardian Protocol. Note to Rear Admiral Green. Any concerns I had about Captain Thalen are gone. Recommend surveillance be ended. He has put the ship and Starfleet principles above all numerous times. He is not what I and we thought Zindu were. In log.
Very nice. You may have one momentum for your efforts. So where we begin is going to be on the bridge of the Drake, and as a reminder, since the Drake is a walker class, it is actually on the underside of the saucer section. And we sort of swoop in underneath the ship. As we see kind of camera left, we see a comet twice the size of Long Island in New York, as all of you are currently present for one reason or another. Of course, Captain Thalen, you're in your big chair. Cole, you're in yours. AC, you're at Ops. Early, you're in one of the auxiliary stations. And Zygen is at her station as well. But particularly of note, we have a newcomer in the helm chair. Now, for those of you that are, of course, joining us for the very first time, there's kind of been a running joke that a certain Ensign Ricky is a very terrible pilot. And one of the requests from the players between Season 1 and Season 2 is that we actually got a competent pilot. So we'll see if that continues to be the case. But overall, instead of Ensign Ricky in the pilot chair, we instead see a 6-foot-tall Ukrainian woman. Her name is Lieutenant Ilya Kozlov, and she is doing her best to keep the Drake at a perfect distance from the comet. And that's where we're going to actually enter into play, is as she taps a few buttons on her console, she turns a little bit and says, "Oh, Captain, I am happy to report that initial scans, well, the ones that aren't being bounced back anyway, I can at least tell you that I have a flight pattern that should keep us out of most turbulence once inside Comet Tail."
That's excellent, Ensign. Prepare to engage that.
A small
Sure.
note, sir. I know you are used to Ensign Ricky sitting in this seat, but I am Lieutenant.
Oh, I'm sorry, Lieutenant. I didn't see the pips there.
It's quite all right.
will-
Happens to many people. Could you believe there was stigma about coming to this assignment in the first place?
Really?
How so?
Well, I mean, Ricky is talk of the ship, and we're still months out from Showa Station, so, you know, world travels, scuttlebutt.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you've got certainly some very interesting shoes to fill there, Lieutenant.
I will do my best, sir. And one thing I would point out about our new Lieutenant Helm Officer is she has kind of short crop blonde hair. She has a weathered face, maybe mid-30s if we needed to put an age on her. But really what stands out about her is she has an eye patch over her left eye. And AC, you would know this, that eye patch is actually hiding the neural interlink equipment, that sort of biological, technological interface that she has is hiding all beneath that eye patch. At the moment, she's not actually hooked into the ship. She's just flying manually, but she can actually hook in if you want her to do so. But yeah, at this point, you all are at station keeping at a distance from the comet. The floor is yours.
All right.
So, has anybody else ever flown into the tail of this thing?
Not that I know of. We're the first ones to find this one.
Pretty exciting. Strange new worlds and all that.
Yeah, especially the size. This is
Does
quite
that
large
mean
for
we,
an interstellar body.
Do we get to name it?
I think Zygen speaks up. Technically, we are the first to even catalog this comet, so yes, I do believe naming rights do fall to us.
We'll start brainstorming names. Let's see if we can come up with a couple interesting ones. At least by the end of, first couple scans or at the end of the mission.
It's my philosophy you should always name your pets after you've gotten to know their personalities. So, if this comet contains a large number of space fish that try to eat our ship, we might call it Aquarium or whatnot.
Or Piranha Planet.
Something like that.
Except it's not a
Shark bait.
planet. Yeah. That could work.
Now, The original Enterprise, they encountered a comet, but I don't know if it was this big. Theirs was only like 80 kilometers across.
Yeah, 300 does sound kind of large.
It is.
Does that have any
large.
special considerations? Like, is it going to start shedding ice blocks? Should we be watching out for debris or radiation or something?
Well, good news, sir, is I can report that I have taken what visual scans I can, and I will make sure I do not perform Ricky maneuver.
I
Thank
agree.
you very much, Lieutenant.
Appreciate that, Lieutenant.
Commander AC.
Yes, sir.
Do you know of any potential problems with the engines themselves that we might have in this reflective tail?
We shouldn't, sir. I can't anticipate any, or I do not anticipate any troubles with the engines.
Okay. That's
But
good.
there could be things that our sensors aren't currently detecting because of that reflective effect. We'll keep an eye on things, sir.
Excellent.
Zygen is actually going to speak up here. One thing that I would just like to note for the record, and again, stellar phenomenon being what they are, technically this comet is about 2 months out from hitting a star at its current travel rate and the current location of where it is. I don't think we would still be with the comet that long, but I just wanted to bring that up in case anybody was curious.
So this comet will no longer be in existence in the next couple days.
Months, sir.
Months,
I might have misspoken. No, it quite literally is on a direct course for a star. Very standard brown dwarf star, end of its life kind of a thing. Kind of a shame, to see a comet this large just go rogue in a way. But that's the universe for you, I suppose.
Yep. Entropy at its finest.
Now, have you been able to track this comet's path? And it's been relatively consistent the entire time?
That's another thing I was going to raise, but I wasn't sure how to. For the most part, it looks like this comet has followed a elliptical orbit from when it was slingshotted away from what I assume is a nebula. And she kind of literally points out one of the windows of the bridge. About, 3 or 4 light years that way, but it's odd. The more I get closer to where it is now, there's... And Zygen, her head kind of cocks to the side a little bit. It's almost like it's changed course, like something has nudged it so that it is on a direct course with the star rather than near missing the star, if that makes any sense, sir.
Lieutenant, can you plot where the course seems to have deviated?
Of course, one moment. And the view screen ahead of you shows a picture of where the comet was headed. And again, it's a near miss of the star. And then maybe about 3 months before you guys found the comet and began surveying it, there's a point in time where that path splits into two, and the new path careens into the sun.
What's around that location?
As far as I can tell, sir, nothing. There's literally nothing on long-range sensors that would indicate that there's anything but stellar dust out there.
Is it emitting any type of sensor probes on low-band subspace frequencies, anything?
As far as I can tell, sir, and again, since the comet's tail is reflecting most of our scans, no, it's not detecting, or it's not emitting any signals. It's not showing any signs of active propulsion. To put it plainly, I think maybe a rogue planet or a star or something with immense gravity just kind of pulled it, and that's why it's adjusted its course.
Now, let me get this straight, Commander Cole. You're suggesting that it might have been manned, the comet, or populated, I suppose?
I was thinking more along the lines of a very, very large missile.
Oh, like someone used technology to move its course.
Yep.
Is there like valuable material inside of it that would be breaking out of it as it got close to a sun? Or, I mean, what possible reason would there be to do that?
I remember watching back when I was a kid when we had the I look over at the captain. We had some of the refugees from Florida come up to the home up in Georgia, where we were watching an old cartoon, Bugs Bunny. I don't know if you've
I'm
seen
familiar
him.
with Bugs Bunny.
And he had this little Marvin the Martian. God, I love that character. And he actually wanted to blow up a planet, Earth in this case, because it blocked his view of the sun from Mars. Who's to say whoever sent this wants to get rid of this neutron star, this brown dwarf, for whatever purpose they have? We've just run into too many
unknown
situations. Yes, exactly, sir.
Well, if this does turn out to be a Marvin the Martian level scenario, that does suggest an excellent name for the comet. We could call it the Illudium Q36 space modulator.
Any type of new minerals could definitely be called that.
Might definitely roll off the tongue, but you could workshop it.
But I don't know. I'm just trying to make sure we keep the ship safe and do what we need to do.
Oh, sure thing. But I mean, what are the odds that it's anything other than a hunk of ice floating through space?
The way would you
With
go
our
say
luck?
that, sir? Now you've jinxed us. Respectfully, of course.
And we don't have any wood to knock on. Knock on the simulated wood on the
I think
handrest.
my desk in the Reddit room might be made out of wood.
I'll make sure I knock on
No,
that.
not after the gumbo incident, sir. They told me they removed all combustibles. Could be
Right.
simulated wood.
Yeah, real wood would tend to soak up smells and odors as well.
Well, just
Yeah.
to be safe, couldn't we probe it?
That's an
Ain't that what we're
excellent
doing?
point, Commander. Lieutenant Zygin, would you mind readying a Class 2 probe?
Of course, sir. And there's kind of that foosh sound, and you guys see the blinking probe out of the literal windows of the Walker class. We see it go and fly into the comet's tail. And then Zygin sort of does one of those things where she kind of shakes her head a little bit and looks down at the screen in silence for about 30 seconds. She says,
We lost contact.
not quite. I mean, kind of yes, but also no. I am receiving that the probe is still there, but it's not transmitting any actual data back. But that's not the weirdest thing, sir. The weirdest thing is that the probe is... Can't be right. The probe is perfectly stationary with the comet. As in, it's at the same distance, it's at the same speed, and it's not even fluctuating by a micron.
How far
Turbine?
in did it read? How far in did it get?
About 300 meters into the tail, as far as I can tell.
Do them Class 2 probes have engines where they can change their speed and course, or do they just kind of go where we shoot them?
That particular probe was rated for minimal guidance, but it shouldn't be stuck in place. This is, to use a human expression, this is almost like someone has taken a piece of fly paper and thrown something at it, and it's sort of stuck there.
Let's,
Captain, I now believe that there might be a problem if we go much further with the ship's ability to move.
I would concur with that. For the sake of testing a hypothesis, let's throw something else at it and see if it also stops. If we have another probe that we can use, that we're not going to waste under your thoughts, Lieutenant, or we can use the grappler and throw some debris at it.
Well, the good news is you have probes aplenty, so if you want to fire another probe, not an issue.
The grappler makes me nervous, sir. I mean, to paraphrase Nietzsche, what you grapple is also grappling you, you know? I don't know if we want to be stuck to that thing. Have a tiger by the tail, as it were.
Fair point. Lieutenant, fire another probe.
Firing probe, aye. And we see another probe fly out. And this time, it actually goes a little bit further in. And Zygin, of course, tells you that and says, Well, I mean, the good news is that actually I'm detecting a plethora of various minerals and useful materials we might actually be able to use to shore up some of the breaches we have on the ship. Hell, there's enough durtanium in there that if we really wanted to, we could build more shuttle pods. But the problem is the probe has gotten only about 2 kilos in, and it too is now stuck in place.
Can it detect the other probe? Can the probes detect each other?
Looking for that now, sir. And yes, this is going to be our first roll of season 2. If someone wants to roll Zygen, please. Zygen is going to be doing a reason and science, and technically the way probes work is it's treated as a sensor scan, so the ship, the Drake, can actually assist you with a sensors and science in this regard. The overall difficulty, I'm going to make a 3 here, though.
Okay. Would her focus in sensor operation
Apply?
work here?
It definitely would, yeah.
Okay. Let's see.
All right, so the Drake unfortunately does not help you here.
So let's use a momentum and give her 3 dice.
Okay.
And
Don't worry, Chad. I see your complication from earlier.
ooh.
So, all right.
No.
I'm going to say with only 2 successes, the answer is no, sir. They didn't notice each other at all. That's very odd. The second probe should have at least pinged back the first.
Right.
There's significant.
What do you? Oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry, Doc. Go ahead.
What do you call that? Psychokinetic grappler that we've got on the ship?
The tractor beam?
Tractor beam. Yeah. Is there a way to detect those? Like if the probes was seized in tractor beams, would we be able to see it? Or is it like a laser where you can only see it if it's pointed at you, sort of thing? I don't know much about the technology behind them tractor beams, but I mean, it seems like maybe they've snagged our probes and they're just kind of dragging them.
It theoretically could be a tractor beam.
Or there's some type of stasis field
Yes.
around the actual core of the comet.
Well, how would that work?
Good question.
I mean, we could try and lock the
like-
tractor beam onto one of the probes unless they are too far away.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing I would say is that out of character, you could attempt a tractor beam. It would just be a little bit difficult, and there would be a complication in range increase if you wanted to try and fish out a probe.
Do we want to get close enough to do that, though?
Well, I recommend sending a third probe in. 2 times is only a coincidence. 3 times makes a pattern. The second probe went in a little bit further, and we're able to get data from it. A third probe might go in a little bit further, and it could be taxing whatever, tractor beams or stasis field this thing has. Could be taxing it. It might actually
Okay.
go in, if that makes sense.
All right. Let's fire another probe.
All right. And I think this time I got to use at least one because Chad is on their game tonight. So the first time, or at least the first complication I'm going to spend, is the third probe goes out, instantly hits a rock, and explodes before it enters into the comet's tail.
Did either of the probes detect
Hey.
that happening?
No, unfortunately not.
Well, I know what happened to that one.
Yeah.
That one I think was more navigational problem. Perhaps Ricky was in simulator piloting probe. Is logical conclusion.
A quick look to see where Ricky is currently on the ship.
He's in sickbay with Dr. Early.
Okay. I don't think it was Ricky.
Huh.
Could
Well,
we
I
not
mean-
fire fourth probe? Surely
That's-
fourth probe.
Well, we got probes to burn.
Do we fire probes full spread?
I look forward to explaining this
You
with
know?
Starfleet requisitions.
That might not be a bad idea if we're looking to see if to overtax a tractor
Fire
beam
several at
system.
once.
Exactly.
Zygen straightens up and says, firing full spread, maximum yield of all probes that I can fire at once.
Max shield? What?
So
Oh,
what we see is like 5 probes getting rapidly launched. It's like foosh, 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 as 5 probes go flying out into the comet's tail.
Zygen, you've always wanted to do that, haven't you?
Oh, I've wanted to since I got on the ship, sir.
I crossed that off your, I believe the human phrase is bucket list.
Indeed, sir.
Very
yes.
much is a bucket list, yes, sir.
So the first probe does make it in about 5 kilometers before it goes dark. The second probe makes it halfway through the comet's tail, so a sizable difference before it goes dark. The third probe actually goes completely through to the other side of the comet's tail. And then the fourth and the fifth are actually able to return to the Drake to be relaunched later.
can we use these as relays to each other?
Potentially, sir. The problem is that the first 2 or 3 probes that got stuck are... energy drained isn't the right word, but they're not transmitting back is the problem.
Or they're transmitting, but we just can't get their transmissions. When the other probes went through the tail, did we lose transmissions until they came out the other side?
Checking, sir. And this, because I want you guys to have momentum, very easy roll for Lieutenant Zygen. And again, the Drake will assist you with a sensor science. Zygen is going to be doing another reason science, this time at a difficulty of 1. So very easy, hopefully, for you guys to get momentum. All right, there you go. That is 4 successes, bringing you up to 4 momentum total. Very nice. So yeah, Zygen reports, yes, sir, there was a moment about halfway through the tail that the probe dropped out of contact for about 0.34 nanoseconds, but as soon as it passed through whatever's in there, it kept transmitting and emerged on the other side intact.
All right.
Well, whatever we do next, we definitely don't need to send any people in there.
And I
Not
think
yet.
because I want the new character to maybe have a voice more than she probably should, Lieutenant Volkaya turns around and she says, sirs, if I've been following, or no, it's Kozlov, not Kaya. Kozlov turns and goes, if I've been following all this, sir, there's valuable minerals in there that we desperately need to patch up ship. Should we not attempt to at least do some sort of mining operation?
That was where I was leaning, Lieutenant.
Also, my apologies if I am speaking out of turn. I simply wish to be a good crew member and not Ensign Ricky.
Well, I appreciate when bridge officers speak up, as long as they're respectful. I just don't need crew members shouting random ideas to me in the hallways. But outside of that, the bridge is generally safe unless we're in a combat situation.
Understood, sir. I will make sure not to yell at you in the hallway when I run past you later.
Unless you're actually going for a run, please do shout on your left so you don't bowl me over, please.
Understood.
Yeah. Can we use the 2 probes that returned to complete the relay and then potentially see about getting something else through to extract material?
Yes. And for this, I'm going to not have it be just on Zygen. I'm going to open up to the entire group here. So what you're looking at is a very difficult but definitely possible. It just depends on how much time you want to spend. So we could do this as an extended task, but I don't think we need to because it's not a time thing. You literally can just sit here for the next 2 months before it flies into a sun, so you got the time. But here's what it's going to be. There's either going to be a control and a science or a control and an engineering, and the ship will assist in kind, where if you're doing the science, it'll be computer science. If you do engineering, it'll be computers engineering. Now, this will be a difficulty of 4, and you can only have one source of an assist here, meaning it doesn't have to be the ship. It can be another player, but you only get the one source of assist here.
4.
Oh boy, decisions. Control science or control engineering, I think, were the options.
Correct.
16 for me.
I can muster
Yeah.
a pretty good control science, but probably not as good as our resident gas cloud.
Zygen's control science is a 13, same as
He's
mine.
the same as me.
And
Can
the
we-
ship is a 7-3
Can we is that for both?
for both.
Okay. Can we? Can one person take a science and I take the engineering, or must we pick one or the other?
I mean, as long as you're not including the ship, you can mix.
Okay.
Yeah, so how about you do engineering?
Okay.
And then let's do Zygen since she has the sensor operation
That
focus.
seems very reasonable to me.
Okay.
Because
And
Yeah, none of
this
mine.
definitely
Also sort of
sounds
her-
like something
sort of
that
her
is-
bailiwick, really, right?
This definitely sounds like something that is jury rigged.
It is. I'll give it to you.
So we have 4 momentum.
Correct.
Would we like for me to spend 3 of those?
Yeah, I think so.
and Zygen just does the 1 for the assist.
Right.
Correct.
Oui, mon ami.
All right, well, you got an assist from Zygen, so I just need to see 3 from AC.
Control, engineering, perform task using a focus.
And here's where the complications happen. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling like 2 complications here. All right, no, I lied.
no.
There's your 4.
There we
Oh,
go.
wow.
So
Nicely done.
AC and Zygen working together. What's going to happen is you are able to establish a quote-unquote mesh network of probes. And now that you are able to have this network, you actually are getting data back from the probes that were previously not transmitting. And also, hey, you just got a momentum from chat. There you go, up to
right.
2. But what you're going to notice, AC, and of course Zygen will report this as well. Okay, sirs, 2 things. First, there's not really a tractor beam in play here, but I can confirm that the 2 previously offline probes are, for lack of a better term, quantumly linked with the comet. If any of you know what a gluon is or a quark, it's bonded on that level, which is really, really weird.
So they're
And
entangled?
yeah, that was where I was going, sir. This is some form of entanglement, but I can't think of anything that we've ever encountered in the history of the Federation or even my people that would even explain what I'm seeing.
Tholian
and-
webs.
Well, that's the second thing, interestingly, sir. There's a Tholian vessel in there.
Oh,
Inside the comet or trapped with the comet?
Trapped with the comet, best I can. Here, maybe if I can clear up and you see her like typing on her station, and the view screen shifts and it zooms into an area of the comet's tail, and through the ice and through the debris, you can just make out a Mesh Weaver class vessel. Now, for sake of argument, a Mesh Weaver class is a scale 4, so it's bigger than you are, but it is unmistakably a Tholian craft.
does it look intact? Like,
It does, actually. It does look like it's not really suffered any hull damage. It does have running lights on.
Life signs?
That, I'm going to say complication from chat. You're not going to get any life signs or anything other than a visual scan.
Okay.
From what we know of Tholian vessels, which isn't a lot, would they be able to navigate freely something like this? And they're not really trapped, they're just there on purpose, maybe to mine it or guide it?
If you give me a momentum, I will answer that question honestly.
Do it.
So yeah.
Okay.
So what's going to come out is Zygen, of course, hearing that idea in character, says, I mean, technically, maybe they tried to mine it or maybe are in the process of mining it. But again, they're bonded. Their ship is bonded the same way the probes are. I think they're trapped in there.
Now that we're starting to gather information from these linked probes, do we think that we can communicate with the Tholian vessel? Not that we necessarily want to, but could we leverage that since they are somehow bonded or locked together?
Now that we know the bonding phenomenon is happening and I can compensate for it, theoretically a hail should be able to reach them, yes.
And
Can
you determine how long they've been there? Could they be responsible for that shift in trajectory?
Good thought, sir. Let me see. Now, this is going to... I hate to make it the Zygen episode for a little bit, but she's just kind of the star here.
He's our science person.
Yeah. Go ahead and give Zygen a... Let's call this an insight into science. Okay. And this time it will be the ship's computers in science in this regard.
Okay.
Don't worry, Doc Riley. I got to wait for you to come in here in a moment.
Would her focus and sensor operation work here, or is this something completely different?
This is more stellar navigation, crunching the numbers, astronavigation, things of that regard.
Oh, darn. The captain could have done this.
I mean, if you want to jump in instead of Zygen, certainly
it's
can.
Okay. Makes more sense for Zygen to do it.
Well, there you go. There's 3 successes, and it was a difficulty of 2, so you get a momentum back. And Zygen says, well... Yes and no. They do appear to have been in the comet as long as the shift in course happened, but I don't think it was deliberate. I think they just happened to be at the wrong place at the wrong time.
How do you miss a 300 kilometer across comet? How does that sneak up on you?
Sensor reflections and warp speed.
Really? Well, I guess from that point of view, they're dang lucky they didn't run into the thing.
Or they might have been wanting to go in to mine what's ever there. They weren't quite as cautious as we were.
They hadn't run into as many anomalies as we have. All right. Well, Zygen, see if we can punch through. We may have to change frequencies with the deflector. Let's try to hail the ship if we can, as long as there's also not a temporal quantum lock going on.
Just an odd question, Lieutenant. We haven't traveled through Tholian space, or are currently in Tholian space, right?
Well, that is correct, sir. We are approximately 15 light years from nearest Tholian space, but we are also in the unclaimed space, and Tholians do like to claim space rather randomly, so technically we could be in Tholian space and not know it.
Oh, that's reassuring.
Thank you, Lieutenant.
You're welcome. By the way, sirs, I'm guessing plan to go in the comet tail is not happening. Should I perhaps plot course to go to head of comet and maybe work that way if hail does not work out?
Yeah, let's try that.
Understood, sir. Planning course. And then, yeah, you still wanna hail them?
Yes, I would like to hail them.
All right, you hear the classic beep that signals that a channel is open.
Tholian vessel, this is Captain Thalen of the Federation starship Drake. Do you require any assistance?
No reply.
Oh man, I hope that ain't a ship full of dead Tholians.
Zygen, repeat that message on a few other frequencies. Also run it through the universal translator a couple times.
Rotating through now, sir. About 4 or 5 minutes pass. Still nothing. However, I believe I have... Yes, I do. I'm actually going to say that one of your probes within the comet, one of the ones that is gluonically locked, as we'll call it, one of the probe does detonate. And you lose connection for just a moment. But Zygen does report... sir, one of the probes just exploded. I mean, I'm sure you just saw it, but we only have 2 more in there, and if we lose even 1 more, connection with the Tholian vessel is going to go out the window.
Do we know why it blew up?
Running scans now, or running checks now, sir. No. There's no collision, no weapons fire. It just
power
exploded.
overload or anything.
No, nothing.
Okay.
was fine one moment, and the next, boom.
Okay. No signals from the Tholian ship.
No. Well, I can confirm that they are at least receiving. They're just not transmitting back.
Okay. Well, I was just checking to see if they were transmitting something to the probe.
Oh, wait. Sorry, sir. We are getting a distress call. That's a new one. At least I think it's a distress call. Well, I'll just play it and you'll understand. So over the bridge's loudspeakers, what you would hear is Morse code SOS. So 3 long, 3 short, 3 long. At least I think that's how it is. Maybe it's reversed. I forget. But you hear unmistakably the beeps or the tones of an SOS. But I would also like to point out that's a Tholian vessel.
Right. It's
Well,
interesting
SOS
that they're
is
using a
universal.
human code.
Are there any Tholian vessels known to have humans in their crews?
I would imagine the environmental systems would prohibit that.
Well, you say that, but we've got a Zygen with us. But fair enough, fair point.
Zygen doesn't require high temperatures, I don't. Correct, Lieutenant?
I mean, that's why I like to keep my quarters hotter than most, but no, I can survive in the standard class M just fine. Tholians, though, they kind of crack and brittle and shatter if they're below 400K, so...
Yeah. I think most of us would liquefy upon entering there. If not simply evaporate.
A wide variety of things would happen, but yeah, none of them would be very good.
Lieutenant, based on the positions of our probes, can you extrapolate based on all of our sensor data, can you extrapolate the source of this putative field that could be causing this? I recognize that's not a precise term.
I think I understand what you're asking, sir. I mean, the earlier comment that I believe Commander Cole made about it being a spider web, it's kind of apt. There's what I'm seeing, and here, I'll just put it on screen. And so part of the Tholian, like the shot of the Tholian vessel kind of goes to screen left, and the full view screen changes to sort of show a diagram of the comet and shows kind of like web interlinkages that go through it. And she says, like a spider web, there's gaps in the web if you know where to fly. And I can confirm that based on what we're sensing that, again, the probes are caught in the web, the Tholians are caught in the web, and, I mean, we could attempt to fly in and tractor them out is always an option, but...
So how... Is it just a single layer web, or is it more like a funnel web, I suppose, where it has layers?
I believe a funnel web is an excellent way to describe it, sir, yes.
Okay. So this would be some very fancy flying if we were to try this.
And Kozlov turns and says, "Sir, I believe I can do it. But I will need help from someone to help me make sure I do not pull a Ricky."
Right. I look at Cole.
Give it a
One
shot.
candidate obviously leaps to mind, but I don't think y'all are going to like my idea.
What is it, Doctor?
Our relief helmsman, Ensign Ricky.
Sir, I will respectfully ask that we not involve Ensign Ricky in this procedure.
In which case,
Okay, the
It's-
name gives me shivers.
it potentially is you, Commander. I know that I flew the ship out of one situation we were in. But
Real quick,
that was-
because I want you guys to be on the same page as everybody else. So this is technically going to be whoever's assisting Kozlov. You're going to be doing a reason con, and the ship's sensors con would assist you at a difficulty of 2.
Okay.
You might want me for that.
Yeah, my reason's not up to that part.
Yeah, my
That's-
reason con is a 12.
Yeah, that's a 15 for me.
There you go.
Okay.
Now, one thing to think about:
I don't have an appropriate focus.
Mm.
is there a way to throw, like, the long time ago they used an aerosol spray to detect laser beams?
Mm-hmm.
Is there a way to throw some type of dust across? Can we emit something like that?
Like chaff.
Yeah. Well, something like that where it would stick to the web. It would make the navigation easier.
And Zygen kind of runs the numbers and says, yes, sir. In fact, I think if we hit these bits of debris here, here, and here, and she highlights part of the tail, part of the ice and debris that follows the comet, I think if we hit here, here, and here with a torpedo, it should shatter and provide the chaff, as you put it.
Excellent idea. Let's try it.
So I guess out of character, my question is, who's going to be firing the torpedo? Because as I would tell you, it would be a control and a security. The ship will assist you with a weapons security. The difficulty is going to start at a 3, but I'm actually going to say that it becomes a difficulty of 4 based on the ranges involved, and I'm going to increase the complication range to a 17 to 20.
Cool.
No pressure.
Yeah, no pressure at all.
All right. I will run this by determination for respect must be earned. Have to uphold the position. Then 2 momentum for the 3rd die.
Yeah, you got it.
And then 3 threat for bold security.
Bold security, I love it. I'll take
That'll
that
give
very
me
eagerly.
4 total die
4 total, you got it.
with 2 automatic successes.
Correct.
Okay.
Also, because chat did ask, normally when you fire a torpedo, you are supposed to give the GM threat, but since it's a non-combat torpedo fire, I don't think that just seems wrong to take threat for that because it's not combat. In combat, though, yes, charge your players a threat to fire a torpedo. All right. Oh, boy. That is 6 successes. Someone can get me the ship's weapons security real quick.
I do not have the ship up.
Nope, that's challenge dice.
That's my veteran.
Oh, that's your veteran. Even better. Then you get it back.
Lovely.
Congratulations.
And I have the ship up, so that was sensors.
Weapons security.
Weapons security.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so no help from the ship, but also no complications. So, 6 successes, meaning you get 2 momentum back. And yeah, what's going to happen is, I'm going to let Cole. How many torpedoes do you fire?
Kind of looking back on early on when we first on the mission, we started doing the billiard maneuver, lining up the shot. We had to hit the 3 targets using 2 torpedoes to set off that chain reaction of bouncing it into the other ones to identify the webs that make Lieutenant Kozlov's path a little bit easier.
And that's exactly what's going to happen is you only fire 2 and you cause that chain reaction to shatter the bits of ice. And now with, light bouncing off the fragments of ice that are now gluonically trapped within the web, you now have basically what is an ice web that is visible not only to sensors but to the naked eye as well. And Kozlov turns and says, sir, respectfully, well, good, very good shot, but I no longer wish to be playing you in billiards.
That was, hats off to you, Hoss. That was a heck of an idea.
Going back on what y'all showed us before.
But the good news is now that I can see where I am flying, should be somewhat easy to get in and rescue Tholians if this is what we wish to be doing.
Now who's jinxing us?
Fair point. I believe I will retract my statement and pretend I said nothing.
All right. Well, no time like the present. I'm going to get sickbay set up for Tholians.
Yeah, I get the
Kind of difficult.
quarantine room. I think it can handle it.
Yeah, I'm going to get me and Ricky an EV. I'm assuming the standard procedure for something like this would be to get in EV suits and turn the temperature up really, really high in sick bay.
So I actually did a little bit of research on this regard, and what I was able to find is that technically sick bay isn't able to provide that sort of a thing, but you
Well, we'd
could.
probably damage all the sensors and stuff in there if we turned it up that high in the medicine. That makes
Right.
sense.
There's actually 2 places on the ship that can provide the temperatures a Tholian would need. One would be in one of the engineering labs. So you would have to go to an engineering lab and make it into a mess, but you could salvage it afterwards. The other place is one of the airlocks, one of the actual manual airlocks that provide you in and out access besides the transporter.
Is the existence of our versatile labs in the Drake a relevant characteristic here?
It is indeed, and I'm glad you brought it up, because one of the things you can do is you can make one of those labs into what is basically a diplomatic suite for the Tholians. All I would require is 2 momentum to make that advantage.
Captain Thalen, permission to convert our experimental lab environment into a triage for possible Tholian casualties?
That sounds like an excellent plan, Doctor. You have to go ahead.
AC, I think that's
You
going
want
to be
some help
more
with that,
you
Doc?
than me. Yeah, or putting it a different way, AC. Let's go
Yep.
turn off the AC.
Let's get to it. Thanks, Doc.
All right.
And as you two are stepping out, Kozlov gets in a word. So if he's turning off the AC, does that now mean we're on DC power? Okay, I thought it was funny. I'm going to shut up and do my job now.
Captain Thalen just does
AC,
the card face.
DC, who's counting?
With crew members like these.
We can come up with a comedy simulator if you wish, Lieutenant.
Wait a second, is this same simulator that Ricky went through?
It's based on the same underlying operating system, yes.
I am both terrified and eager at the same time.
I'm going to love this, in retrospect, this 60 seconds we spent on this digression if we find out that the Tholians were 60 seconds too late to rescue him. If only we'd gone faster.
We did everything we could.
All right, well, I think we know what we want to do here, so let's just talk logistics. So what I'm imagining, and of course if this deviates from what you all have in mind, but this is the vibe I'm getting, you're going to fly in between the web, you're going to tractor beam the Tholians out and then leave, or are you going to fly into transporter range, beam them out, and then fly out, leaving their ship there?
I would say assess both to see.
It is my situation. I'm prepping for the worst case scenario because that's just what a doctor should do in this case. But we don't even know that there are any Tholians over there, so
They might be super dead.
Fair.
Yeah. So I'm just
They might
preparing for
not
the
even
worst.
want to come willingly, so
Right.
Precisely.
So if we get their ship free and they are fine to fly away, then they're fine to fly away. Is my take on it.
I will say, considering that we're putting the Drake in a dangerous situation, I would recommend, in fact, that Ricky just man regular sick bay,
Okay.
and then me and AC put on EV suits. So that way, if there's any Drake crew that are in danger, we still have a medical person to help them. That's not walking around in an oven.
we'll
like
have
it.
some security
That makes
personnel
sense.
with you as well.
All right, has been noted. All right, so we're going to do this in a couple parts here. So the first one is going to be whoever wants to take the helm. Doesn't have to be Kozlov, but you probably want her to do it. And then the way the assist is going to work is, again, this is going to be a chart hazard, and that is a reason con and the ship's sensors con at a difficulty of 2. Now, you could avoid doing this assist and just straight assist Kozlov, but what I'm having you do with Chart Hazard, it reduces her down from a difficulty of 5 to a difficulty of 2 if you're successful on this task.
Well, it's hard to argue with that.
All right. You said for the ship it was a sensors con,
Correct.
and would the ship just be doing 1 die, or
Yeah, the ship always does 1 die and it always has an assist.
Okay.
Or, sorry, always has a focus.
Focus. Yeah, that's it. All right.
And Koslov is rolling
Reason con.
reason con. Okay. Reason con.
All right, no help from the ship, unfortunately.
Darn. I would imagine helm operation as a focus would help.
Mm-hmm.
And one sec. Let's see. Would this help? Not yet.
Good news, though, is that if you are able to leverage... Actually, no. Does that talent apply here? Let's take a look.
Can she re-roll that ship system?
I was looking at the bold con.
Oh, okay. So the bold con can't re-roll the ship die. There's actually only a few talents that let you re-roll the ship die.
There is.
Okay.
She's got one.
Oh, she does. Really? That's helpful.
She's got a value.
Does has a value. It just says don't be Ricky. That's all it says.
Which, if she fails, I'm gonna tap that.
Yeah.
I thought we were saying that she had this very rare talent. That was
No, I am actually saying that she has this very rare talent that I just pasted in.
The neural interface. Yeah.
Yeah.
They may re-roll the d20 from the. Yes, if you really
That's
want her to
so
hook in, she can
cool.
definitely do that.
Yeah, iPad.
Yeah, I think that would be probably a good idea.
If we're showcasing her, we should showcase her.
Showcase the new character.
You can do it. I believe in you. Don't roll complications. I believe.
Okay.
And again, since it's been a while, you can either just do the roll again, or you can hit the reroll results button underneath in chat, whichever you prefer.
Let's just do the reroll.
All right, so still nothing from the ship, but also not a complication.
Okay. I'm going to use a momentum at least to get Koslov an extra die.
Okay.
Here we go.
All right. There's your difficulty of 2. So, what this is going to look like is you see from the bridge that the comet is getting closer and closer, and Kozlov takes the Drake and doesn't do an artful spin, but does one of those banking maneuvers where you sort of reorient yourself with where the comet is, and you fly, you dip, you bob, you weave, you duck underneath the ice-filled cobweb, as it were, and you arrive within tractor beam range of the Tholian vessel. Now, what you're also able to tell is that Zygen speaks up and says, sir, I'm actually getting life signs now. In fact, I'm able to tell you there are only 5 Tholian on that vessel.
Life support situation.
Does appear to be fluctuating. In fact, I see 6 Tholian. Nope, back down to 5. My guess is we probably have a Tholian in distress.
Okay. Thalen to Tholian sickbay.
Yes, sir.
Prepare for incoming patients.
All right, sir. Do we have to roll for that, or we've already prepared with just?
Yeah, I'm going to say because you spent the momentum to make the advantage, no roll required.
Can we communicate it with them one more time just before?
I was going to say we should hail. We'll try to hail them once, and then if there's no response, we're just transporting.
Okay. All right. You would get a response, but it would be audio only, and it would be the stereotypical trope of it, cutting in and out and static and all the interference you want in the world.
So we understand nothing.
Well, you'd understand snippets.
Yeah. All right. Well, there's not enough for us to go on for complete communication. So, transporter room. Beam the Tholians directly to the reconfigured sickbay.
Well, AC, looks like you're going to be my nurse for a little while.
So,
good news is if you're squeamish, you probably ain't going to see no blood.
You make a valid point, Doc.
So, what's going to happen is, and what I'm imagining is the lab will just flavor to be kind of like I guess we're just going to say a barren room, all things considered, but the walls have been reinforced and the doors, etc., etc. There's force fields in place, yada, yada, yada. But since this is a vaguely rectangular room, I like to imagine in the center of it is where the Tholians are beamed into. And 5 of them seem okay. There's sort of oranges and blues and greens, sort of that crystal spider sort of feel. But the 6th one is a yellow and appears to be cracking and shattering a little bit.
This here would be our priority. Come on over, Commander.
Yep. Did you read any books, Doc?
Before you can get close, I'm actually going to use the complication from chat to say that one of the blue Tholian is going to produce what looks to be some form of energy weapon and is going to point at you and say over the universal translator, "Who are you? What are you doing? And are you why we're trapped here?" And that's where we're going to go to break, because I'm an asshole and I like breaking on a cliffhanger. So we'll be back in about 5 to 10 minutes, everybody. Stick around. And welcome back to part 2 of the Season 2 premiere of Star Trek Drake. If you're just joining us, the players have not only encountered a strange comet that seems to be trailing a quantum web in its wake, but they've also found that in that quantum web is a trapped Tholian vessel. And the players have flown in an attempt to rescue the Tholians, and they've beamed out what are presumably Tholians in distress to a reconfigured engineering lab that can support the Tholian environment. And we're going to resume where we left off with the Tholians beaming into this reconfigured lab, and one of them in clear distress. The leader, a blue-colored Tholian, is again going to proffer an energy weapon. And I decided over break I was going to give them the Sean Connery voice, because why not? "So, who are you? Why are we here? And are you why our ship is trapped? Is this a Federation weapon? Because if it is, I'll vaporize you on the spot."
We're Starfleet medical personnel here to render aid. It looked as though your ship was in distress and you weren't replying to our communications. This is the vessel USS Drake. We are not aggressors.
Roll me a presence and medicine.
Oh, yeah, presence. Yeah, I'm good.
Clearly your power stats, yeah.
Very definitely.
And I'm going to set the difficulty at a 3.
You want to help, AC?
Can I use this? I'm attempting to get them to refrain from a specific course of action in that they're...
Well, I was accounting for that. Technically, it's supposed to be a presence command, but since you're already doing a presence medicine, I basically caught you before you needed to ask, if you see what I'm doing.
Fair enough. Would my focus in diplomacy and negotiation apply?
It definitely would, yes.
Yay!
How about we spend some momentum and give a threat?
Yeah. I would give you 4 dice.
Love to do that. Actually, no. I would like to spend 1 momentum to get a die, but I want to save some in case this medical emergency is a big deal and hard to repair. Because better at saving lives than talking to people. So just going to roll the 3 dice.
There's your 3 successes.
There we go.
Very nice. So the blue Tholian is going to kind of make a chittering sound, and it's going to lower its energy weapon. And then it's going to turn to the yellow, flaking, cracking, kind of shattering adjacent Tholian and says, "Are you able to perform surgery on my crewmate here?"
Yes, I think so. Let me examine him.
Oh, wait a minute. And he kind of does one of those things, or at least I'm calling him a he. I don't think Tholians have genders. Either way, the Tholian gets in your way a little bit and says, "Have you ever operated on a... Why am I asking you? Of course, no human has ever operated on a Tholian before."
I sure ain't.
Then, let me make something very, very clear. And Tholians, from what we see in the show, Tholians are kind of like human-esque size, but some of them, when they get on all 6 of their legs and stand up fully, they're just a little bit taller. So the blue Tholian gets to that height where they're looking down at you a little bit and says, if you actually harm him, and they kind of leave that hanging threat as they hold up their energy weapon, not pointed at you, but they just kind of show it to make very clear what will happen.
All right. Well, let me just see what we can do here. I attempt to examine the patient.
All right, so now I actually have to check your other talents to see if you have quick study. Do you have quick study? I think you... No, you don't have quick study. It's a different doctor I'm thinking of. Okay.
Did he stay at the Holiday Inn last night? At Holiday Express last night?
He did, yeah.
That is my thing.
Okay, let me see if this... So
But
what I'm going to
this
tell
is assuming
you...
that emergency medicine is an insufficient focus in the first place.
Well, that's what I would say, is that emergency medicine would only help you if this was a human patient, so I would be able to give you the walking encyclopedia focus of... I guess we would call this Class Y
geobiology.
organisms, because that covers Tholians, that covers silver bloods, yada, yada, yada. But that would at least give you the focus you could use, yes.
All right, well, let me create my temporary focus, which does, in fact, increase the threat range.
Does make
what
it a
gonna be?
complication range of 19 to 20.
What's the, not threat range. What was the focus name?
Class Y organisms, I think is how we'll put it.
Yeah, as luck would have it, I was studying my Class Y organisms medical manuals in case we ran into y'all. So let's see what we can do here. Is that a insight?
Insight in medicine, and you have a focus. I am going to tell you, though, that since you don't have quick study, you might have a focus here, but the difficulty is going to increase because, as the Tholian said, this is kind of the first time any human has ever had even shared a room with the Tholians. That's how little you've, as a species and as the Federation, have ever interacted with the Tholians. This is a big first.
Which means, technically speaking, no matter what I do here, I will have done the best job anyone has ever done at doing this. So,
Way to make yourself feel better, Doc. But I would like to assist.
I spend a momentum, though, so I can get my cautious medicine in play.
Real quick, before that, AC, what would you want to assist? How are you assisting?
We are in a lab. Specifically, we're in an engineering lab. It's one of mine. So I would like to work with the doc in the middle of this surgery to recalibrate the sensors on the fly so that he can better see what he is doing.
I like it. Okay, so AC, you're going to assist with the control engineer. Oh, what do you got, Cole?
I want to tag on to that in all that sensor data they're gathering. I want to make sure we save that and can provide it to Starfleet.
Love it.
If you want to do that on the bridge, I am not thinking about that right now.
Oh, I'm definitely thinking about that.
Yeah. Noted. I like where your head's at. So, AC, you're going to assist with the control engineering. Early again, you're doing insight medicine as you're scanning. I am going to set this at a difficulty of 5, however. Oh, you've already rolled. Okay.
I didn't know the diff was 5, did you?
Yeah.
I'm going to reroll with my cautious medicine that 19, though.
Well, I was going to say, if you do reroll the 19 and crit, it is possible to succeed on this.
Well, is there anything else I could have spent anyway? So, I mean, I think I'm just kind of...
you would have had to give me threat, or you would have had to use determination.
I am interested to use my sensors to discover the to discover what happens inside a Tholian.
Meanwhile, I'm going to reroll my two dice there.
Okay,
or is it's just one dice for cautious?
It's just the one for cautious. Yeah,
we have 3 momentum.
We do?
Because I just decided I wanted to discover what the inside of a Tholian looked like.
Right.
Oh.
Difference is you can't spend the momentum to reroll dice. That's only determination. Yeah. But you do at least have the 3 momentum, which may still come in handy. But yeah, let's see the reroll. I mean, I believe. Maybe you can turn that complication into a crit. I believe.
Turn that smile upside down.
There you go. Ooh, all right, we are possible. We are within possible range, people.
Y'all just call me Dr. Rock because I'm a doctor that rocks.
There you go.
You can't spend momentum to add dice to an assist, can you?
No, that's the unfortunate part. And if you want to take back your 3 your determination spend, I'll let you do it. Your call, but even determination you can't use on an assist roll. But yeah, AC, very, very important control engineering here. Very, very important.
Well, it's only one die. Let's
Mhm.
see. Go there.
Yeah, I don't think anybody else can help you.
Yeah, it's just you two. Okay. So, what I'm going to say is, because I don't want to just completely stonewall you, because you guys made a good effort, but I am going to introduce a complication, is that by the time both of you begin to understand what's going on with a Tholian, and the best descriptor I can sort of give you is a Tholian is basically a living crystal, and some form of a circulatory system that regulates the crystalline flow within the Tholian's body. It's very similar to a circulatory system in a human, or any humanoid, I should say. Basically, the blood is coagulating, and because it's coagulating, it's hardening and causing the cracks that you're seeing on the Tholian body. The complication I'm going to introduce is that you are now going to be working against the clock to get that crystalline flow going again. Because if you don't, the Tholian will quite literally self-shatter. So we're now getting into an extended task because, time is actually a factor here. And I will tell you that it is going to be a rather difficult extended task, at least to start. So again, it's a good thing you got your determination here. And of course, I saw AC, you took yours back.
Only on science or engineering.
I will say, if it's all right, while working, Early's just going to point over his shoulder at the Tholian with the gun and go, "You there, whatever your name is. Any of your other crew that are in here need immediate attention, or can we focus on this one?"
My name is Pearl Jean, and my other crewmates are fine.
Roger that. I think we've identified the problem, but we're very touch and go here, so I'm going to give him my full focus.
Understood.
All right, so I almost have this on difficulty of 5. I think that's everything. Yes. All right, so work track of 16, magnitude of 4, resistance of 2, difficulty of 5. And this is between Nemesis and Ace, or Early and AC. And what I would say is you can pitch me what you want to try and do, or if you would prefer just to keep it rolls, we can. But what I would say is I will do my best to give you advantages if you flavor things appropriately, I think is what I would say. But I'm also not going to penalize you if nothing comes to mind. And of course, Sunbay and Peter, you guys can pitch in if you guys have any ideas while you're in the peanut gallery.
Yep.
Hang on just a second. I'm going to try this technobabble.
Yeah, as I say, the technobabble thing always is fun.
Is the cracking from temperature, or is it like a vibration thing?
It is more similar to a blood clot in a way. It's just that for a Tholian, a blood clot is causing internal pressure that's causing it to fracture and crack.
So it's pressure.
All right, I think I've identified the problem, AC. What we need to do is get an oscillating frequency controller device of some sort, something very powerful so it can penetrate this rocky exoskeleton. And then we can boost its osmotic output so as to break up these lava clots that are forming so that the creature's internal lava flow is more uniform. Does that make sense?
We have 1 momentum for that. Very well done.
Not a problem, Doc. We're in my lab, but I'm not going to be able to help you for a little bit. I'm going to have to build that for you by hand here.
Righto. And hey, you, Pearl, you need to move the rest of your crew and yourself as far from me and this patient as possible so we don't disrupt your lava doing this, because it's a sonic effect. It's not very precise.
Right, so you all back against that wall over there, and do what the security personnel say. I know it's odd, but this might be our only way out of here.
And the Tholians all back up, and of course your security people in there keep a close eye on them.
I'm imagining so, yeah.
So my work on this work track is going to be to build the piece of equipment that the doctor has requested, using just parts from my medical kit, or sorry, parts from my engineering kit, a tricorder, some wall plates and things.
Sounds like a
pull
jury
out.
rigging is what this
Yes,
sounds
it
like.
does
Putty.
actually.
All right, so for you, I'm going to make this a daring engineering. Again, it is a difficulty of 5, and you have 1 momentum. You can give me threat. You have your determination back. Maybe you've got a hope and a
momentum,
dream.
or do you want me to keep my determination, Doc?
You're better at this work track stuff than me, so may want to save our expendables for when I get my hands on the steering wheel.
All right. Let's see.
You can, okay, yeah, Lord Exile actually has reminded me that I forgot to put a time interval. You can actually spend that 1 momentum before the roll to make the interval 1 instead of 2, which let me actually add the time real quick here. You have a grand total of 10 intervals of time to do this in.
Is the ship able to assist AC? Because, I mean, I'm not going to be able to do much with a daring engineering roll. Or
I would allow you to assist with a presence engineering early, which I know is definitely not your strength.
That's even worse.
But
Is that how work stuff works, or can he be doing his own task as well, like stabilizing the patient?
well, that's the thing is that since you have to build the device before he can do his work, he's kind of working with you to get this device built as quickly as possible. So you both can contribute to this extended task. It's just that this is kind of a gate that you have to pass through before it opens up.
All right.
Well, I am ludicrously bad at engineering, but we'll see what I can accomplish here.
You're as good at engineering as I am at medicine.
So it's you said it was presence and not daring for me?
I could give you either daring or presence, which I think maybe your daring's a little bit better,
Daring's
but
1 better, yeah. And I don't even have anything that could even remotely constitute a
a focus. Yeah. Well, what I would
here.
tell you is that you only have an engineering of 1 anyway, so even a focus wouldn't matter.
All right, well, here comes my assistance die. Yay.
All right. No help from early, unfortunately.
I didn't make it worse.
But real quick, before AC rolls his dice, are you spending momentum to reduce the time interval?
Yes, I have to, because we need more shots is better than. All right, and I will give you.
Meow.
Yeah. I will give you 3 threat, I guess.
Okay. 2 additional die.
Yes.
Also, my cat's looking for your cat now. Like, where's this other cat?
Yes. That one is particularly loud.
It's all good. We love cats on this channel.
We even had Catleth,
Yeah.
our Klingon cat.
Mm-hmm.
And we also have Anomaly on this ship. So
This is true.
I keep forgetting our time cat.
Yeah.
Oh.
All right. So, do you have a way to re-roll? Is the question here? I don't.
I
think
have
you
a
do.
determination that I haven't spent yet.
That is something you could do. And you would just need 1 more. All you need is
If not
1 more
now.
success.
If not now, then when?
Yeah.
And all I would point out is that technically you don't have to just re-roll the 20. It can be as many dice as you wish, but it's up to you if you want to crit fish.
One thing I'm telling you, AC, not to add pressure, but if you're imagining that what we're doing right now is going to be written up in the Starfleet medical textbook for Tholian medicine, that's not true. What we're doing right now is going to be written up as the textbook.
Yeah.
Only thing in it. You and me and this.
Okay.
Okay, we got the
I'm a great
5.
motivator.
Well done. All right, so now we need to do the work, and then we'll handle it in the narrative sense. So you have an engineering of 5, correct?
Yes.
You are going to be rolling me 7 challenge dice, please. And this is going to represent your work done on the extended task. And you have a nick of time, which means you basically have Vicious 1 on this. So every effect is going to count extra. And you have Miracle Worker, so if you get a breakthrough,
Yeah.
you get 2.
Are you giving her all she's got?
I am.
Okay. That is only
Not enough.
4. You can give me a threat to re-roll those blanks if you want.
Yes.
How many of the blanks does a threat reroll?
As many as for challenge dice, as many as you want.
Yes.
Yeah, that's one of those differences between Fallout and Star Trek then, because we had to look it up recently, and it was 3.
Yeah, I was gonna say for Fallout, they definitely clamp down on that, unfortunately.
Awesome.
That's 6 total, I think.
Yes, that would be 6 total.
And that's a breakthrough, and that's 2 breakthroughs.
Well, hold on. So it would be a resistance of 2, if you remember. So it comes down to 4, but you could give me another threat to make it 5, and that would be a breakthrough.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. All right, so you get 2 breakthroughs, which is going to reduce the magnitude to 2, down the difficulty to a 3. And there is the update in chat. You've made 5 out of 16 work. You've got magnitude of 2, difficulty of 3, and a time interval of 1. So early, AC, you guys working together to make what is essentially a ultrasound device. You're basically taking the same philosophy that you use in real life to break up a kidney stone and adapting it for use on a Tholian.
Breaking up a stone's kidney.
Exactly, yeah. Why are you more witty than I am? Damn, I wish I thought of that.
Doc, here, grab that end. I think we're ready.
All right.
All right, so now comes a difficult thing for early, because I imagine you're taking the lead on the procedure. You're going to be doing a daring medicine, and the difficulty will be a 3. I'm actually going to use some of the threat you guys have given me to make the complication range a 17 to 20 on this one.
We've given you enough threat to start a Tholian war. So in this scenario, have I moved over to using emergency medicine as my focus, or am I still on the Class Y organisms focus?
I would say still Class Y.
Okay, so the reason I ask is because the Class Y focus actually already has an increased complication range.
So it would double to,
16
or not
up?
double, it would be 16, yeah, 16 to 20.
Woo! This is fun. Okay, so 0 momentum exists, which is when my cautious medicine would come in so handy. AC, you used your little momentum generating thing already.
I did. Sorry, Doc.
So we're just doing what you're doing here.
Well, what I would point out is that the captain has a very special ability that we always overlook.
I was about to ask that.
If you want to ask Captain Thalen for advice, assistance, or just fill him in, the captain can give his determination as long as he is within contact with whomever needs it.
Certainly. While AC is moving the device we have created towards the patient, who in my mental image is lying on a medical bed that looks a lot like an anvil, because it's got to be heat resistant.
Yeah.
Tholian experimental lab to bridge.
Thalen here.
This is Dr. Early. We've got a critically wounded Tholian, and his crewmate is threatening us with an energy device if we don't save him. We think we have improvised a medical device that will assist, but this is very much unexplored territory. It is, in fact, I'm pretty sure the very first time in history anyone in Starfleet's ever done surgery on a Tholian. I just want to tell you in case we start some sort of diplomatic incident down here.
Well, I will be prepared for that if that does happen, but...
Any sage guidance, sir? Should we perhaps refuse to offer medical aid because making it worse would be such a heavy consequence? I'm not suggesting that, it's just...
No, that would be against Starfleet's principles.
I thought as much.
So I think that we should do this, and Doctor, you've pulled us through some pretty interesting circumstances, so I think you've got this.
All right, sir. If you don't hear back from us, you'll know why. Sayonara.
Right.
I begin engaging the device.
Consider determination given.
All right,
Captain.
so actually what occurred to me, the way you guys can quote-unquote cheese this is you could give your determination captain to AC, and then AC can use the new determination to get you the 3 momentum to activate Dr. Early's cautious medicine.
Oh, there we go.
I like these.
And I've got a justification for that, and it'll make for interesting character development as well.
Go for it.
Ooh.
I don't have the momentum to spend, but since we're spending a determination and doing a cheese, I figure it'll work. So I'm going to say that that there is a relevant passage in a certain encyclopedic document that I possess, that a certain species that isn't around anymore might have run into something similar to this in the past.
Oh,
So I'm going to reveal its presence to the doctor and show him this passage in order to help him with this. So that way I can justify taking that determination and spitting it into momentum.
I love it. I love it.
once we're outside this
Nice.
shootout, son, we're going to have to circle.
We're going to
back
have a
that one.
conversation, but not now.
And I'm on my way down there as soon as I looked at the captain, and I heard that
Laser.
he got guns pointed at him.
All right. So yeah, that'll get you your
Alrighty.
3. And yeah, now that you have momentum to spend, how much of it do you want to spend early?
AC won't mind if I burn all 3, will they? Oh, will you?
I have no medicine. You go.
Okay. I wish to
Now,
burn 3.
real quick before you roll, do you also want to give me a threat to make it an interval of 1 instead of 2? You have 9 out of 10 intervals at the moment.
So I do want to do that. Is that right? You think?
Up to you.
I think so because
Okay.
I can generate
Hey,
a
if I
breakthrough
start a
pretty much-
Tholian war, the whole crew is at risk here. So I'm willing to take advice from everybody.
From my perspective, I'm the work track machine, and I can't really help here.
Yeah,
So,
I would
mean,
say
you've done more of these than I ever have. So
Yeah.
consider yourself threatened. That's 2 threat though. It's got to be right. No, 3, right?
Nah, just the 1. The good news
Well,
is
we'll
it's
see. I
just the
burn
1.
one momentum for a die, 2 momentum for a second die,
Yeah,
Mhm.
and then 1 threat for a third die.
You got it.
one. Oh,
Unless you
Why is
want
that
it
handy?
to be more threat, which I won't
No,
say no
we're
to,
good.
but
4 dice is pretty good. So my complication outrange now is
16 to
4.
20. Yep.
right. So, and I'm using a focus. Wish me luck.
I mean, I believe. Okay.
Woo! Now I'm cautious medicine, so I can
Can
reroll
reroll that
one,
19.
but the likelihood of it still being a complication is relatively high.
right, but better than certain.
Yeah.
Touche.
There you go.
Okay.
You turn it to 5 successes, getting you 2 momentum back. So now comes
I
the
literally like
important
a
roll.
jackhammers in my mental image, just like.
I'm like it's in my mind it's a combination of like an ultrasound machine with like a jackhammer and like some sort of like high frequency sort of whine, but
Yeah, we
Yeah,
probably have
it's
to turn
weird.
off the external sound sensors on our little EV suits.
the other
lest we
Tholians are probably
rupture our
less than
eardrums.
thrilled with you.
yeah, the Tholians are probably in the corner freaking out a little bit and like looking at each other like what the hell are they doing? Like maybe one of the other Tholians has to hold, another back kind of a thing.
It's a Federation trick.
Oh god, a denistril. That's actually what I was thinking of, is the denistril. Thank you.
Ooh.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's a fun thing all around. But yeah, so early. Now that you have succeeded and succeeded well, you now have to roll me 7 challenge dice, and that is the perform challenge on this sheet. And I don't believe you have anything related to extended tasks, so it's pretty much whatever you roll is how much work gets done.
7 dice, you say?
7 dice, correct.
Ooh,
Okay,
look at
wow.
that.
Nice.
Wow.
That's probably the best roll of my career right there.
Yeah.
I
So
rolled
it's
that.
It's resistance 2, so you do 6 work, but that is still a breakthrough. So what's going to happen is you begin to break up the crystalline clot, as we're calling it. And as you are able to do so, the crystalline blood, quote unquote, the crystalline plasma still within the Tholian, begins circulating again. And the progress of the fracturing process has begun to slow dramatically. However, the Tholian isn't out of the woods yet. You just have to do a little bit more. You have to, kind of hone in, and you have to get through this home stretch. The good news, you only have to beat it's a difficulty of 2 that you have to beat now. But as long as you succeed and do at least 7 on the die, 7 successes on the die, you win here. You save the Tholian's life. And you have 8 intervals of time, so technically you have 4 plus chances at this.
All right. Is this a situation where on the next roll, AC can assist me because no one's more expert in operating this device that you designed?
That is correct. I'd allow it.
Okay.
So
what do
it
you want that
remains a
assist to
daring
be?
medicine, though, right?
Still daring medicine. I would say daring medicine from both of you, in fact.
All right, I just burned
That's-
1 momentum to get a die to engage my talent or my cautious medicine.
Cool.
Okay. Are you also spending a momentum to reduce the interval?
No, I think with as many as we've gotten, I want to just take my time.
Also, Chad is asking why the difficulty go up. It was a difficulty of 3, but they only got the 1 breakthrough, so
Yeah.
it goes down to a difficulty of 2.
And another momentum. Thank you.
Yeah, another momentum from Chad.
Thank
there
you. The Tholians really ought to thank you.
Go. Well,
Oh, okay. Cautious medicine.
you
Let's
do have
see if we
cautious
can do this.
medicine. All right.
Still real easy to complicate when almost every roll is a complication. Let's see.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those, you either succeed or
Oh!
there you go. That is
1,
5
9, 1?
successes, meaning you get...
God wants this Tholian to live. He's going
He
to
really
go on
does.
to be a very important.
Yeah, I'm
Tholian.
not gonna roll
Yeah, well, all right, I'll allow it.
unless you want me. I will roll.
All right, fair enough. It can only really help you, I think. I mean, surely you can't roll 16 to 20. Oh, God. Okay, I opened my mouth. All right, so here's what's going to happen. All right, real quick, for bookkeeping's sake, go ahead and roll the 7 challenge dice early, and as long as I see at least 7, we're good. But there's going to be a complication. Okay,
Exactly.
that's what
7
you
on the
need.
dot.
That's what you need. So you save the Tholian, but there's a complication. So what's going to happen is, early in AC, you're working together, you're saving the Tholian's life, you stabilize them, but the complication is going to be as you start to turn and deliver the good news to Pearlzine, or Pearline, or I think it's Pearlzine I said earlier.
Pearlzine. That
Yeah,
sounds
Pearlzine. As you turn to say the good news to Pearlzine, the treated Tholian, one of their arm breaks off. The rest of the Tholian is fine. It's just they break off an arm in the process.
Okay, let me ask you this: How sure am I that is a consequence of me making a mistake, or is that just too unknown of a factor for me to really know?
I think it's one of those unknown where you're not sure if it was you, if it was the patient, if it was the device. You just don't know. But Pearlzine is definitely going to raise that energy weapon and be like, "What have you done? Why are you torturing him?"
We attempted to stop his blood from coagulating and cracking open his carapace. This is just an accidental complication. He is stable and should live.
And the Tholian, with its good remaining arm, does kind of weakly raises and goes, I am okay. I am okay. It was not their fault. It's not their fault.
Are you quite sure?
I'm feeling better. I actually feel fine. Maybe I
Just
can go
a
for a
fresh
walk.
No, don't push yourself. Not ready for a walk yet.
Not dead yet.
All right, well,
And lowers the energy weapon.
you've saved their life, which is more than I was expecting from the Federation.
We're happy to be of help, friend. Would you like us to transport you back to your vessel so we can figure out how to get you out of this comet thing?
Well, I believe that commander walking through the door is who I need to talk to about that.
And this is where Commander Cole, you enter in with an EV suit into the lab.
Put my hands back up. We're safe now. Hostilities have ceased, I think, sir. All
Wait,
is well.
why are you holding up your hands to your superior officer? I'm the one
I
with
just
the
want to
gun.
make sure he doesn't misinterpret anything. Last time we talked, I mentioned that we were in danger.
Okay, I'm very confused about the order of operations here, but
Me too.
Commander Cole.
Pearlzine, commander of the
And he rattles off a name that does not translate.
Yeah.
And
My
this is
character
the,
is visibly relieved to have somebody who knows what they're doing the diplomacy part.
and this is the USS Strait. We're a long range exploration vessel. We came to just check out this comet, and we saw that you were trapped, and we got an old digital distress signal that was able to penetrate, and that's why we homed in on you. And I'm glad Doc Early and Chief Engineer were able to help out and save your crewmen. Is there anything else we can do for you?
Well, first things first, Pearlzine actually turns to one of the orange-tinted Tholians, the quote-unquote normal Tholian, says,
well done, officer. Your technique of using the Terran signal was a good idea.
Oh, thank you, sir. It's the latest Federation signal we had on hand, so I'm glad it worked.
Yes, glad it worked. But, tell me, Commander Cole, how much do you know about, the comet? I can assume that since we're standing here talking, you've managed to enter into the field. Are you trapped as well, or...?
No, we were able to identify, for lack of a better term, the web around of gluons, because anything that enters that web is gluonically bonded to the comet. So we were able to throw up some of the debris onto the web to make it visible to us. And we were able to fly in pretty much unscathed.
Well, it's interesting thinking, but, then you don't know about the organism.
No, we do know that this comet is en route to a brown dwarf star, direct route, and it changed course a few months back to bring it more in line with the star.
Well, I don't know if this is going to translate, so I apologize if it doesn't, but, that's not necessarily a comet. It's more of a large egg, if you will.
Oh, real? Okay.
Well, at least that's as much as we've been able to tell, having spent the last 2 months trapped.
Early would like to quietly patch the bridge into this conversation so Zygen and the captain can hear.
Have you been able to gather any information about the organism during your 2 months?
As far as we're able to tell, it's the one that's gluonically bonding the web together. But, no, we've tried hailing it, we've tried communicating with it, or getting it to respond in any way, and it just hasn't. We can tell it's sentient, at least to some degree, but, well, I don't think I need to tell you, we're Tholians. We don't exactly do the species thing.
So, even though it's in an embryonic state, it's still sentient.
That would be what our sensors do suggest,
Wow.
yes.
Okay. Captain Lieutenant Zygen,
Go ahead.
can we focus our sensors on the core of the comet? Talking to, is it Commander Pearlzine? Captain Pearlzine?
Commander is fine.
Talking to the Tholian commander, the comet is actually an egg with an organism inside that is sentient to some degree. And the bonding issues are all a result of the organism.
All right.
And Zygen, when did the comet change course?
Roughly 2 months ago, sir.
So I share that with Commander Pearlzine that about 2 months ago we were backtracking the course of the comet, and roughly the same time that you encountered it is when it changed course.
Well, with that data in mind, that would make sense. We were traveling at high warp when we were suddenly ensnared, and that's why my ship is damaged and why there are not more of us here in your medical facility.
Right.
Good.
Okay. See if we can do any scans of the actual organism, and we got another potential contact for you, sir.
All right. Okay, so I'm gonna ask Zygen to calibrate sensors to try to penetrate the interior of the comet, since we are now
Within the
mostly inside
tail,
the
and you
field.
can see it. Yeah. So I think as we wrap up the scene, because this definitely is going to be a two-parter, I think Zygen looks at her scans again and goes, "Well, sir, are you familiar at all with the human beast known as a dragon?"
Yes, I believe I read some of the human myths about it.
Well, the embryo that I'm detecting inside that comet, now that we're within the tail, kind of resembles one, and I am reading a high level of brain activity, which would mirror the commander's assertion that it is sentient to some degree.
Okay. Is there any way to communicate with it?
That we're going to have to work on, sir, but I guess the good news is that we have time to do so, and she doesn't even get through her sentence when I'm going to spend some of the threat you guys have given me, that the cobweb shifts, and Kozlov does her damnedest not to get the Drake snared, but there's a sudden lurch, and Kozlov very reluctant reports, sir, I am unfortunate to be announcing I may have pulled a Ricky. Well, technically, it was Comet Web that moved, not me, so I'm going to count that as still not a Ricky, but maybe in log we say it is. I'm going to shut up now.
Well, I'd say step one to communicating with it would be to stop shooting torpedoes at it.
Wait, you shot torpedoes at it?
We thought we were shooting torpedoes at the tail of a comet.
Yeah, we didn't hit the core of the comet. We're shooting them at the debris field.
And as we see that little funny conversation with Tholian goes, what? That is where we're going to end, and we'll make this a two-parter. So yeah, I love it. You know, there were a lot of good moments, a lot of good, interesting character development moments, which we're going to have to get to between AC and Early at some point. So I will make a note that we have to definitely hit on that next session. But yeah, I love it. I love it. What are you guys thinking so far? You having a good time?
Oh yeah, I'm enjoying it.
Oh, definitely.
Do I get to add a Tholian arm to my equipment list now?
The commander might have issues with it, but I guess if you really wanted
that might
to,
be frowned upon.
Send it to my
Yeah,
daddy
what's
and
a
have him
sleight
mount
of
it on
hand
the wall
roll?
at the farmhouse?
If you really want it, we can maybe talk offline about how you'd have to go about. Yeah. All right. Well, Twitch stick around because we're going to raid somebody. But YouTube, this is where we'll see you. See you a bit later. So bye, YouTube.